Coming up on tonight's Rowan Rundown, a Rowan student group is protesting against two preachers who frequent the campus. An update on the Rowan student who was arrested by the FBI in November, and Rowan's Leadership Development Institute graduates its most recent round of employees, all when we come back.
Coming up on the weather, this weekend will be sunny skies and highs in the 60s, and next week will be highs in the 70s and the 80s. We'll be back with more.
Welcome to the Rowan broadcast. I'm Jackson Hesley with tonight's news. Rallying for student equality, the Rowan chapter of the Young Democratic Socialists of America's Queer Rights Working Group are demonstrating against street preacher brothers Kyle and Luke. The two are usually found at Rowan's owl statue, stopping individuals on campus to preach the Christian gospel. The demonstrators stood across the sidewalk from the preachers, holding signs and protesting against the brothers who in the past have held signs that target members of the LGBTQ+ community. Members of the protest and students of Rowan have asked the university to remove the preachers from campus, claiming they harass students walking by for their identities. However, the university is unable to take legal action as Rowan remains a public institution. The Rowan University student accused of joining an Islamic terrorist group has been denied bail. 19-year-old Tomas Khan Jimenez Guzel was arrested at the Newark Liberty International Airport back in November. Prosecutors allege that the freshman planned to go to Syria in order to join ISIS. Jimenez Guzel pleaded not guilty and is currently being held at Essex County Correctional Facility. According to court records, investigators tracked years of online communication between Jimenez Guzel and several men from both Michigan and overseas. The FBI used a combination of confidential human sources, civilian reports, and undercover employees to investigate the college student. If convicted, Jimenez Guzel could face a maximum of 20 years. Coming up after the break, Rowan College of the Arts students were celebrated at 2 national music competitions and 2 national conferences when we come back.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Developing Trailblazers, Rowan University's Leadership Development Institute continues to strengthen the university's leadership pipeline by providing a transformative professional development experience for high-achieving, aspiring leaders across the institution. Created and managed by the Division of Human Resources, the program launched in 2020 and graduated its 5th cohort on Monday, April 6th. The program has supported development of 74 Rowan employees, positioning them for long-term leadership success and advancing the university's talent and development succession planning goals. Support among the students. On Tuesday, Rowan held its annual Take Back the Night event in the Chamberlain Student Center. The event continued its decade-long tradition of raising awareness of sexual and power-based violence while supporting and empowering survivors. Organized by Rowan's Wellness Center, the program is designed to create a safe and supportive space where survivors and allies can share their experiences, access resources, and stand together against interpersonal violence. March was a busy month for Rowan University College of the Arts students, representing Rowan at 2 national music competitions and 2 national conferences. On March 23rd, music major Vitaly Khayrutinov won first place in the piano category at the prestigious Music Teachers National Association Young Artist Performance Competition in Chicago, Illinois. At this year's National Trumpet Competition held at the University of Iowa, an ensemble of 7 Rowan music students won out of over 40 other university groups to compete in the live round. Congratulations to all the musicians who competed. Innovating new opportunities, a Brain Awareness STEM Night was held on March 17th, thanks to a partnership between R.J. Steinhauer Elementary School in Maple Shade, New Jersey, and the Neuroscience Graduate Program of the Rowan Virtual School of Translational Biomedical Engineering and Sciences. According to Rowan Today, the 2-hour event was made up of different presentations and demonstrations designed to make brain science engaging. The event was part of a larger global initiative going on, Brain Awareness Week 2026. Regional organizations were also represented, such as Temple University and the Franklin Institute. Coming up, see how Rowan students are reacting to the increasing cost of gas when we come back.
I know you've been grinding. I know things aren't easy. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Love your mind.
We all deserve a place to call home. That's an American dream.
Now, Marcella is here with us to discuss a recent rally involving Rowan YDSA. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcella. My first question for you is, I was wondering what the purpose of the rally organized by the Young Democratic Socialists of America at Rowan last Wednesday was all about.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. The rally aimed to protest the presence of Christian street preachers on campus who students claimed were targeting and harassing members of the LGBTQ+ community. And organizers wanted to counter their message and discourage students from engaging with the preachers because oftentimes a lot of Rowan students will be walking around campus nearby Robinson Hall or Westby Hall and will engage with the preachers and come in contact with them. And the YDSA was protesting against the preachers coming on campus and are hoping that they will be leaving campus because of these protests that they're having. They recently had another protest also last Wednesday and yesterday too.
And where did the protest take place and who participated?
The protest took place near the owl statue on campus, a common spot where the preachers speak. Around 30 students protested, and it was organized by the YDSA's Queer Rights Working Group, as I stated before, and everyone participated in the demonstration.
And why is the university limited in taking action against the street preachers?
Because Rowan University is a public institution, so it must uphold First Amendment rights, including freedom of speech, and this means the university cannot easily remove the preachers, even if their message is controversial or offensive, which at times students have found that to be.
And finally, how did different students respond to the protests and the preachers?
Students' reactions varied a lot. Many supported the protest and its message, while others were engaging in discussions with both sides and would sometimes even talk to the preachers while the protest was going on. So some students even supported the preachers' viewpoints and attempted to mediate the conversations, and they showed that they had a mixed perspective across campus on this whole protest.
Well, students are being affected by the recent rise in gas prices, as recent data suggests that gas in New Jersey is now about $4 per gallon. According to the WIT, reapplying gas costs about $20 to $25 in the beginning of the semester, while it is now about $10 more. This particularly affects students who commute. Rowan students can now have discounts at the Edelman Fossil Park and Museum in Sewell. This was announced in an Instagram post on March 30th, a few days after the location celebrated being open to the public for 1 year. According to the WIT, current Rowan students are able to have one free visit during the academic year, followed by 50% off all visits after that. And they can also get 50% off a bronze membership, which offers benefits such as unlimited access to the museum. The South Jersey Institute for Population Health has awarded over $300,000 to Rowan-led research projects. The SJIPH agreed to funding these collaborative projects as a part of their fourth annual funding cycle. One of Rowan's projects includes the Salem City Healthy Food Project, which is aimed at tracking changes in both vegetable consumption and self-reported health incomes for 6 months. The majority of these newly funded initiatives will focus on community-engaged projects, specifically in rural areas. Coming up next, Christina has the latest in the world of entertainment.
Thank you, Jackson. Here's our latest in entertainment news. We officially have a new box office king in Hollywood. The Super Mario Galaxy movie scored the biggest opening of the year this past weekend. The Illumination and Nintendo co-production earned $130.9 million over the weekend and a massive $190.1 million in its first 5 days in North American theaters. Moving on, thousands of BTS fans are gathering near Seoul, South Korea for a launch. Returning to the stage after nearly 4 years of hiatus, BTS will perform a set drawing both from their catalog and fifth album, Arirang, their first since band members completed South Korea's mandatory military service. Despite pouring rain, Thursday's crowd packed the stadium with a capacity of over 40,000 for the show, which marks the group's first headline tour performance since their 2021-2022 Permission to Dance on-stage tour. And finally, Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Ray Stevens broke his neck and is recovering at home after briefly being hospitalized. According to a statement published Tuesday, the 87-year-old country star, who is known for his topical satire, fell late last month, according to a statement released on his X account. He will need to wear a neck brace for about a month. That's all I have for entertainment. Now let's send it back to Jackson.
When we come back, the special report with Alex.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end, so you better buckle in. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
In episode 5 of Rowan On, a university podcast hosted by Karen Holloway with Sarah Sanford, an associate teaching professor, together they unpack how collaboration, physical storytelling, and risk-taking can impact making theater. This episode also highlights Pig Iron's partnership with Rowan University, which Sanford describes as a natural fit. Listeners will hear Sanford discuss everything from mask work to acrobatics, from teaching artistry to the role of performance in challenging times. Audiences can listen through Spotify, Apple, and other podcast platforms. Alumnus and Pizza. Joining Rowan sports communication majors, Rowan 2022 alumni Mohammed Hassanin, the featured guest on Pizza with the Pros, is giving current students tips for entering the trade. Hassanin serves as the Assistant Marketing Director at Temple University Athletics and says that going to Rowan was the best possible choice he could have made. One of the biggest points he emphasized to students in attendance was that it's okay to not know what field you want to enter. And he also encouraged the audience to remember that it is okay to take losses as you work towards a career, saying that sometimes they can lead to greater things. And now it's time for our special report with Alex.
Good evening, I'm Alex Cruz, and I'm here for the special report with Christopher Otto. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a long day so far, but at the end of the day, we're here.
All right, thank you. So for those who don't know, Christopher Otto is the news editor and photography editor of the school paper, The Wit. All right, so tell me, Chris, how do you usually prepare for a week at The Wit?
So it really varies depending on how the week goes, because sometimes there's going to be a very dry news week. There's not much going on. Other times, there's going to be so much going on in a single week that it's hard to get enough writers to actually come and grab the stories that we have pitched. But at the end of the day, it's still really just rewarding, because I started out like pretty much not solely doing news, but it was when I was a staff writer, it was what I was doing the most. Mm-hmm. And then transitioning to editor was a little bit rough at first, but then it's something that this semester specifically, I feel like I've really hit a stride on. And it has its dry weeks, but it has its really good weeks, especially as of late, really good weeks. And it's been a great ride so far.
All right. No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Now, how does it feel, taking on these stories yourself, even though you are editor, and then also working with other students who pick up these stories?
So writing has always been and always will be my first love. Mm-hmm. I've known that I've wanted to go into a profession of some sort involving writing since I was in elementary school. Growing up, I wanted to be an author initially, but much like a lot of failed authors, I then transitioned to journalism, and storytelling has always been key to me. So even though being an editor and taking on much more responsibility and a heavier workload, I still wanted to get and keep going with writing and everything. This semester specifically, I've done way more writing than I did last semester. A lot of big stories specifically, whether it be University Assembled. Just last week, we broke quite a big, heavy story involving a mathematics professor here on campus that took up the entirety of my spring break, as well as extra weeks before and after. But getting to see our work finally out there in public and hearing the feedback has been so worth all the stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm. And then how does working with the photography aspect play into it too as well?
So that also varies a lot from week to week, depending on who I have that's interested in photography. Sometimes we have really good weeks. Like I have had photographers who go to protests specifically, whether it's No Kings or if it's anything covered by SJP or YDSA. Just last week, I had two photographers that, both for a class and for the Wit, went to Washington, D.C. for the No Kings protest and did photos, and we're hoping to get that gallery up online soon. But it's just phenomenal getting to see so many talented both writers and photographers in my section. It's been a blast.
All right. That's really awesome to hear. And then I know that you're graduating this semester, so what kind of legacy or work you want to leave behind moving forward for the news section?
At the end of the day, my whole goal as editor is to just make sure that the stories and information that kind of fall to the wayside or they kind of miss the mark in the eyes of the public, I just hope that I've done good enough in getting those types of stories out there. Mm-hmm. That's always been a goal of mine, both being a writer and now being an editor. And going back after graduation, I'll be going back to freelance writing and trying to figure out where my place in the world is after. But either way, that's always been first and foremost to me.
All right. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Of course. All right. Now back to the desk.
When we come back, the latest in Rowan sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end, so you better buckle in. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Now it's time to take a look at sports. Here's Owen with more.
Thank you very much. Here's the latest in Rowan sports news. Eric Brennan, the head coach of the Rowan men's basketball team, is heading to Air Force to be an assistant. The move was announced on Wednesday, and it is according to Rowan Director of Athletics, Sean Tucker. Brennan, who spent 3 seasons as head coach at Rowan, one of those being as interim head coach, joins Joe Crispin's staff at Air Force. Brennan previously worked with Crispin in Glassboro from 2018 to 2023. According to Rowan Athletics, Brennan said in a statement, in part, quote, "After 8 unforgettable years at Rowan University, the last 3 as head coach of the men's basketball program, I have made the difficult decision to step down. This place has truly shaped my life. The relationships, the growth, and the memories we created together will stay with me forever," end quote. Rowan women's lacrosse defeats Stockton at home on Wednesday, 16-9. The Profs got 6 goals from senior Elena Corson and 5 from sophomore Madison Rothwine. According to Rowan Athletics, Corson is now 3 goals away from breaking the all-time goal-scoring record in program history, and she will have a chance to do it this Saturday as Rowan visits Ramapo. Finally, Rowan softball earns their 20th and 21st wins Tuesday on the road against TCNJ. The Profs took Game 1 by a score of 3-0 and Game 2 4-3, and both victories came in 8 innings. A home run from freshman Maggie Funston and great pitching from sophomore Beth Ann Doderer led Rowan in the first game, while freshman Zoe Rogers scored on a wild pitch in the second game to break the 3-3 tie. This is according to Rowan Athletics. Up next, the Profs head to NJCU for a doubleheader on Saturday. Now, back to the desk.
And now it's time for the weather with Sam.
Welcome to the weather. I'm Sam Prince, and tonight is a low 28 degrees with freezing temperatures. Now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. On Friday, it'll be a high of 69 degrees, sunny with a low of 38 degrees. And on Saturday, the sunny skies continue with a high of 66 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. And on Sunday, it'll be partly cloudy. Master Sunday will be high of 66 degrees, a low of 42 degrees. And on Monday, it'll be cloudy, but the humidity will be back with a high of 79 degrees and a low of 54 degrees. And on Tuesday, it'll be back into the 80s with high of 81 degrees and a low of 60 degrees. Now, let's go to the desk. Hello, Jackson. How's it going today?
Good. How are you doing, Sam?
Doing fantastic. Sunny skies coming out this weekend. We had some freeze watch this week. I had to break out my winter coat again in the month of April. I hate when I have to do that.
I know, it just really soured my week, but sunny skies are on the horizon and we got some high 80s coming up next week.
High
so
80s.
Excited.
Maybe I can wear my shorts again.
Hopefully. Wouldn't that be a dream? That's all that we have for tonight. This is Jackson Hesley signing off.